Hi, I'm Jason Sterling. I'm a member of the EA Creator Network, and this is the Gentrification Project. This is Oasis Step 2, Gentrification Step 2. Now, this is the point at which you have found this great home. It's already been updated. It's perfect. But Oasis is a tech hub now, you guys. It's a tech hub, and you're going to move into this 1,200 square foot or probably 900 square foot home for $3 million, or you're going to live in your car, one or the other, because this is a big money tech hub now here in Oasis. So what you're going to do is you're going to buy this place, and you're going to come in, you're going to take what's a perfectly good home. It's already been flipped, and you're going to really give us some style and character, some mid-century modern style and character, and we jump right into, that's what we're starting here, as you can see. I pull out the stuff for the office, I pull out the stuff for the dining room, start building some pony walls to define the space. I talked about this a little bit in the first video, the sort of gentrification step 1, that I really wanted to put the living room right as you walk in the front door, have a little dining room over there by the kitchen, and then the kitchen in the same spot that it is in right now. But I didn't really have money, or I didn't want to spend the money on a pony wall and that sort of definition. So I didn't do it. I just put the living room here in the back where I'm moving all the furniture right now. And now, though, we're going to put in that room a guest bedroom and an home office. We're going to put the living room here where you can see it, where I'm kind of arranging our sectional. We're going, which we may or may, I can't remember if I keep the sectional there or not. We'll see. But that's going to be our living room as you walk in the front door. Dining room back here by the kitchen. More of a true dining room. The other sort of dining room we had was just a space for people to kind of maybe eat breakfast. Ultimately, I do go, as you can see there, with a little bit smaller table and chairs. I wanted to do a table and chairs for 6, and if you wanted that, you could maybe put the living room back over in the corner, put the dining room right as you walk in the front door, and have a larger table and chairs. This is a tech bro, though. He's not really going to do, he's not doing any cooking. He doesn't have time for that. He's busy programming. And when he gets done programming, he's going to happy hour. He's going to happy hour to kind of, sit and reflect on the fact that he lives in the most expensive city in California, and he has this fantastic job. He makes a ton of money, and he still feels like he's kind of a middle-class guy in Oklahoma. So that's what he's doing. He didn't have time to cook. So we're just going to do a little place there to eat some breakfast, maybe eat a late night snack when he gets back from, kind of, I don't know, club hopping or something, kind of drowning it all out, drowning out the sorrow. So we're going to change out the kitchen a little bit. We're going to go with some lighter cabinetry. I think I changed the cabinetry again from this. I think so. Coming up. We're going to put in, we put in a nice dishwasher there, some nice appliances, very upgraded appliances. I love these appliances. In fact, they remind me a lot of some appliances that like Williams-Sonoma carried. Probably other people did too, but I saw them in the window for Williams-Sonoma at the mall. And I loved them. I fell in love with them, but the stove didn't come in a size that would fit the opening I already had in my kitchen. And I didn't want to try to rip out cabinetry and redesign the kitchen. I really don't want to go through that sort of mess. So I was like, screw it, my stove's fine. So here though in The Sims, of course, all the stoves are exactly the same size. Lucky me in The Sims. So I was able to put in what I wanted. I decided to put in sort of a bar and a hutch here against this wall in the dining room. I try a couple of different things. I had this sort of mid-century modern idea that I was playing around with. Why do I think this looks mid-century modern? I really don't know. At the time, I thought it'd be a cool idea, and I've actually done this before, and I did like it wherever I did it before. I did it in an apartment I built in Magnolia Promenade a long time ago, and I did like it then. I don't end up digging it here. I go through a lot of trouble to build this thing a couple of different ways. I end up yanking it all out and kind of keeping it, kind of going with it. We'll see here in a minute, kind of, doing it, using it. Because this is all the money. This is all the money build. I was able to put in some upper cabinetry. obviously, as you can see, I kind of got stuck with kind of the smaller cabinetry because the windows are so big and I did not want to change the windows. Again, what can I say? Like I said, this is some sort of tech bro or something. He doesn't have a lot of stuff to store up there anyway. I mean, he's not gone out China shopping or something, right? Probably he just sticks old computer components up there and stuff like that. The bathroom I do make a little bit bigger. I wanted to have double sinks from the start. I just didn't want to spend that much money in the starter price. I could have maybe spent that much money in the starter price version, but being starter price, I think anybody who puts in that sort of structure, they want to have some money left over at the end to personalize it in their own way. Maybe they want to buy an art easel. I always say that, mostly because I always buy an art easel, I think, for my Sims. If I'm going to give them a hobby, kind of like, here you go, paint. Or maybe they want to buy some exercise equipment or something like that. So I try to leave a couple of $1,000s on my starters left at the end instead of just spending it all. Now, when I'm building a starter for my sim, I tend to spend almost all of it. I might keep a few hundred on hand for food until the first paychecks start rolling in. That's about it. One thing this bathroom does not have, and I kind of noticed it as I'm building here, it doesn't have to have it, is there's no window for the bathroom. Given this is a gentrified version, step 2, I do think I'll go back and put a window in there. So when you download it, or with the pictures at the end, you might see about a window there in the bathroom. This is our guest bedroom. I went really heavy on the mid-century modern vibe for this, which I really don't need to tell you. You can kind of tell just from what it's being outfitted with, right? It is our guest room, so I put in the Murphy bed. So if a guest stays over, you can pull it down. I guess with this being the new Silicon Valley, you know, or New Austin, Texas, right? I guess you could rent this room out for $3,000 a month, right? $3,000 a month, and it comes with bathroom privileges. So you don't have to go potty out in the backyard. You know, you have to dig a cat hole in the backyard and cover it up. You don't have to wait till nighttime so no one will see you do it. And you don't have to wash off like with the water hose or maybe at the gym. Do you have a gym membership? Can you afford a gym membership? That's the more important thing. Can you afford a gym membership in Austin or Silicon Valley? I don't know. Probably not. Because, okay, let's see. This is what I settled on, though, for the look of it. I really like this. I like that sort of tile in there with that wooden wall. Really like that. Out back, what else? Hey. You are a programming guru here in the new Silicon Valley of the Sims world. What do you want more than anything? A hot tub. That'll lure the chicks in. That'll do it. Just in case you don't have a personality to lure them in. I don't know, though. I think that most people, if you're gay, a lot of gay guys would definitely be like, your home's worth $3 million. Yeah, we can go out. Yeah, we can go out. Definitely. I'm joking, of course. Not all of them are like that. Not all of them. So now here we go. We're working on the living room again. I like the way this is set up. It's a small living room. It's a small house. You do just enter directly into the living room. I've lived in a lot of houses like that, though, where you do enter directly into the living room. No entryway. I think that it turns out really well. What can I say? There's not much to say about it. The look definitely suits me. I really like mid-century modern, and there are several assets in the game that support that style. Now, if you search by mid-century modern, you're not necessarily going to pull up everything that would work for that sort of style. Like, I think those doors from Eco Living work pretty well for a mid-century modern style. I'm not sure those slats that I've used there actually pull up either under mid-century modern, and yet, again, they really work pretty well. As you can see, I changed them to red, give them a little bit of a red tone to tie in with the carpet there. And I put a few red accents in, like here on the table. It's a nice, lovely red vase with some red flowers in it. These particular plants, I think, do come up under mid-century modern. So there are a few things like that. But there's definitely a ton of other plants that you could use. Like that red vase with the little flower there is perfect. We put in just a few more assets. This is kind of the clutter version. I didn't want it to be too cluttered. It's a pretty small space to get into too much clutter. I think you're going to, again, who lives here? This guy isn't into collectibles, right? He's not running around on the weekend collecting things at an antique market necessarily. I guess he could. Maybe he would. Anyway, this guy does not. My sim living here does not. This is where I go ahead and sort of change out that wall fixture. Again, I'm not real sure why I did that. I liked it before. I just didn't dig it in the end here in this particular build. We go through and start doing a little bit of lighting here. Pretty self-explanatory. I wanted, the puck lights are so convenient. Little round puck lights. They put out a lot of light. They're easy to use. They don't kind of get in the way. But I did want something a little more unique, a little bit more of a mid-century modern vibe. And that's what I kind of look for here. I use these particular, I think they're called the painting lights. So they're meant as lights to go over works of art. I use those a lot as under-counter lighting. In fact, I use them all the time as under-counter lighting. They look very much like the sort of fluorescent fixtures that you used to in kind of in the 90s is what I'm thinking of. I think even before that, like in the 80s, maybe the 70s, but in the 90s, you could put them underneath, your cabinetry, and you could kind of install them yourself. That's what those kind of remind me of, so that's why I use them so much. I put in a little bit of spotlighting here in the dining room, a little bit dramatic, a little bit mid-century modern drama coming in there, and throw in some wall types there in the kitchen, some stone, set it off. I'd use a different sort of wall type in the guest bedroom. And I think ultimately I end up doing that in the master bedroom as well. As you can see here, there's still a little bit of work to do with the home office part of the office. Now, the table I had there and the chair work fine, but I wanted something, again, a little bit more modern, a little bit more hip, right? A little bit more expensive looking, which is not to say that this really looks that expensive, although honestly, if you went to one of those Danish modern type of stores, probably it's $2,000 or something like that. And you're like, what? Why? Isn't it made out of plywood? So, but it looks great. So we're going to do that there. We also went in here in the master bedroom. I was just commenting that I changed out the walls in there, the wall texture, which I do. I also put in a closet for that particular room. The guest room, I did not put a closet in. Again, it's a guest room. I could put in maybe a dresser in there. I'm not sure I see any point. If you're a guest of this guy, you're going to live out of your suitcase, essentially. He forgot to put a dresser in. I could go back and put one in, but I don't really want to. I kind of like it. The rooms are small, right? The rooms are small, and I don't really see any real reason to do it. We go with a pretty spare bed and matching end tables. I fall back a lot on this bed and end tables from Snowy Escape. It's kind of the sort of Japanese tinged, asset pack. It's got a great modern look to it. It's not too over the top. There's no extra stuff on it. There's no crazy patterns. On the bedspread, like looks like Victorian wallpaper threw up all over it. Nothing like that. So I end up using it a lot and end up using it too much. You'll probably see it a lot in builds that I do. I try to get a little bit away from it, but I'm going to be honest. The Sims bed situation, I think, is not that great. Mostly because when you go to look, like I said, for swatches for the bed, they're just crazy. They literally look like colorblind and like wallpapers all over. And there's always like flowers or patterns or quilts or some nonsense. I don't know. Anyway, that's why I use that one a lot. That's why I do use that one a lot. It's really great bed for that. This is the wall texture I use right here. That's new. That's like maybe from the new Adventure Awaits pack, I think. It's meant as exterior sort of paneling for like a cabin. I really like it in here. Again, it kind of fits that sort of calming, sort of vibe, right? Very natural looking. The floor mat's natural looking. We got that sort of picture of the mountains behind the bed. I like this room a lot. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. Like the other rooms we're going to go in, we're going to throw in some lighting here, right? We're going to throw in a little bit of lighting. And I believe I think we're almost to the outside. Now, here on the exterior, I wanted to dress it up a little bit more from what we had with the step 1 gentrification, the starter price build. Put in a little bit of heavier exterior molding, a much larger sort of courtyard kind of patio. It's not really a courtyard because I don't end up walling it in. I thought about walling it in, but this is such a small lot. I didn't want to lose that little square of space on the edge. I thought it would make the interior of the courtyard feel too tight. So I just left it completely open to the street. You can see we brought in a tree, though, kind of a mesquite tree, which is a little bit of a deserty sort of tree. I think it's something that does kind of fit this, area. It's more of a drought tolerant sort of tree, doesn't require as much watering, stands up to the heat better. We mimic our walls that we've got elsewhere, build a little wall around it. And coming up, I'm going to put in a nice seating area out here, some place to hang out with friends. I don't believe I put in a barbecue. Oh, you know what I do? I do end up putting in a barbecue grill. I was going to say, this is a great place to hang out with friends. You have a glass of wine. Maybe you're having some beers. You're going to hang out here on the patio. Great place for that. It is someplace you can sit and eat too, because I do end up ultimately putting in our barbecue in the back. That's something that I feel like that's something you would have here with my sort of tech bro occupant. I feel like he might want a barbecue, or she might want a barbecue. I know a lot of women who do barbecue. I don't barbecue. I don't have a barbecue grill at all. I've owned a hibachi before in my life, which is like one of those little square things you set fire in the middle of it and kind of grill on it. And at one point I had a very inexpensive barbecue grill from Walmart, but I just kind of left it out in the rain for, a couple of years, and it rusted out, and that was the end of that. So I'm not really a barbecuer. I don't really barbecue outside, but I did think that maybe that would be something someone who lives here does. Plus, we have coming up, as you'll be able to see, the new barbecue grill from Farm to Table or Garden to Table, I think it's called, the kit. That's it right there, in fact. I love it. I love the way it looks. And also the bottom of it, that stone, as it turns out, matches the stone I was already using around those sort of planters. So it turned out just great, just perfect. So I did put a barbecue grill there. I end up using a little bit of accessories from that pack. Well, you can see a table. And I throw a couple little accessories on it as well. Since I decided to go ahead and do a barbecue, I thought, let's put in, we've got seating up front. Let's put in a little bit of seating back here. Again, super small lot, super small. It's only 20 by 15. So we don't have a lot of room for I could have put a table there. I could have put a table there and chairs. But I thought with the modern vibe we're going for, this made more sense. Just a long line of seating where people are going to just lounge and hang out. I would have liked to maybe fit in a bar, but I don't know. I put in bars a lot because the Sims need them to actually mix drinks. I don't think, do people really use bars that much anymore? I have friends that have really large outdoor kitchens. And they kind of have a bar. They don't really stock the bar. It's kind of like there might be a little refrigerator there. Still half the time there's nothing in the fridge. They're still just, because it's small, so they're still just putting beer and everything in their fridge in the house and just bringing it out as needed. Or they'll have a big kind of horse tank or horse trough type of thing full of ice, stuff stuck in it. Do it that way. That's where we're ending here. As you can see, that's the end of the landscaping. I did kind of upgrade it a little bit. I really like this build because I really like the mid-century modern style. I would live here. I'd be that tech bro living here for sure. If I had $3 million and lived in Austin or Silicon Valley or something, right? Then yeah, I guess I would. I do really like it. Maybe San Diego. This was like a San Diego house to me too. Except we could probably afford more grass and landscaping in San Diego, better water situation. Now, I'm going to put a few pictures here at the end of this particular build. Like always, so please hit like, subscribe, and notify so that you can catch our next build in this series, this sort of gentrification project. The next world technically is Magnolia Promenade. Now, Magnolia Promenade was a sort of retail district for the Get to Work pack, which came with our first version of retail for this game. There's no housing there. There's no housing there. What we're going to do is we're going to take the shopping center. Kind of looks like a shopping center. I guess they use it as just one large store, but it looks a little bit like a shopping center to me. But what it looks like even more than a shopping center is a motel. It looks like it would have originally been a motel, and it's actually called like the Roadstead. Why? Because it would have been probably called the Roadstead Inn. If somehow 12 years ago they thought they were actually going to give us hotels at some point, that's just what it looks like to me. And I think that stuff like this, by the way, is going to be a little bit of editorial. I do think it's stuff like that that made people think for so long, we're getting hotels soon. We're getting this soon. Look, it's got a parking lot, so we're going to get cars soon. And it's really weird to design something like this, I think, as Maxis, and not realize people are going to probably get that idea. Because the first thing I thought of when I looked at this was a motor hotel, like a motel. And what we're going to do is we're going to change it into what we're going to go with that. We're going to think this was a motor hotel from like the mid-century, again, kind of from the mid-century, maybe the 70s, maybe the 1970s. And we're going to convert it into apartments, like studio apartments. So that's how we're going to gentrify this particular build. And we're just going to do one video for that because there's no real reason to do a starter home price. It'd be very hard to do that. I suppose we could do starter type apartments there. And I might do, as part of that video, I might do one of the apartments with starter furniture in it to show how you could make it cheaper if you wanted to go that route. But we're going to go with a gentrified step 2 version, that this is an old motor hotel near a downtown core that they've converted to studio apartments so that, you know, again, urban professionals can kind of live there. It's definitely going to be basically for a single, a couple, or maybe a baby, maybe with a baby, maybe. But you'll see when we get there, if you hit like, subscribe, and notify, and that video comes out. I'm also going to include a little bit of a diner with that particular build. So a section of it will be a diner as well, which I think fits in with that sort of motel, motor lodge type of concept. So please hit like, subscribe, and notify so you don't miss that. And until that time, thanks for watching.